Hello guys, welcome back. I hope you watched the previous video about RDS, that is DynamoDB. So when do we use this DynamoDB instead of RDS you have seen? Now let's have a question. For let's say I have a NoSQL database. I have a NoSQL database. Now I am looking for is there any service in AWS where I can use that service for this NoSQL database? Yes, there is a service. What is the service name? That is DynamoDB. So for NoSQL databases, what service is what service in AWS we have for us to use? DynamoDB. Okay. So in order to use it, do I need to provide or provision any infrastructure, or do I need to manage any infrastructure for this DynamoDB? The answer is no. DynamoDB is a fully managed, fully managed service. DynamoDB is a fully managed service. So what does this fully managed means? Who will manage providing my underlying infrastructure and providing my underlying infrastructure and managing my underlying infrastructure. So who will provide and manage my underlying infrastructure? AWS. We are the cloud provider. He will manage. So that's why we call it as fully managed service. We don't need to provide anything for it. Do we need to maintain servers? No. Do we need to maintain? Do we need to maintain? Do we need to maintain servers? No. Do we need to maintain the operating system which is present in the servers? No, we don't need to maintain operating system which is present in the servers. And do we need to maintain backups? No, we don't even need to maintain backups for our servers. And do we need to maintain our servers replication? No, we don't even need to maintain servers replication. Do we need to maintain our servers database patching? Do we need to maintain our servers database, whatever the database that is present in the servers, that patching? Do I need to maintain? No, we don't need to maintain anything. So that's why it is called managed service, where who can manage all these things? AWS. In place of us, AWS will manage all these things. Okay. So do we are maintaining any servers for this? No. Underlying servers we are not maintaining. Underlying infrastructure also we are not maintaining. So since we are not maintaining servers, can I call this as serverless service? Of course. We can call it as serverless service. What type of service? It's a serverless service. We do not need to maintain these servers for using this database. So under databases, we have two types. What are they? SQL we have and NoSQL we have. What do we call the SQL database? That is relational database management system. So for that, what service we have? RDS. So let's say I want NoSQL service provider. That is there any service provider for me? That means, is there any service in AWS which supports for my NoSQL databases? Yes. What is that service? DynamoDB. So now let's revise back. For NoSQL database, which service we use? DynamoDB. For fully is this a DynamoDB is a fully managed, or do we need to manage the underlying infrastructure? It's a fully managed. AWS will manage everything. Is it serverless or server based? It's a serverless service because we don't need to manage underlying servers for using this DynamoDB service. Okay. So your responsibility is how to model your data. That is the only your responsibility. What we maintain is how to model our data. How to model our data. This is the thing we just need to maintain under this DynamoDB. So how many ways can I able to store my NoSQL data, sir? How many ways can I able to store normally how many ways can I able to store my NoSQL data? So how many ways can I store my NoSQL data? Actually, there are most commonly used data modes are there. There are 4 most commonly used data modes. Let's see them. Most commonly used NoSQL, most commonly used NoSQL data modes. So let's see what are the data modes that we use most commonly for storing and managing our database data. That is NoSQL database data. So first thing is key value pairs. Key value pairs. So it is one of the mode where we can able to store and manage our data for our databases. And there is a document mode. In this mode also we can able to store and manage our data of our database. And we have graph mode as well. We have another type, that is wide column database. Wide column database. So these are the 4 modes that we have, that we commonly use for NoSQL data modes. So among these, how DynamoDB stores the DynamoDB provides you almost always, but mostly Amazon DynamoDB is used for key value database. Mostly DynamoDB used for Amazon DynamoDB used for Amazon DynamoDB used for what? Used as key value database. Key value database. Okay. Let's see how these key value database will be. Even it also supports you document access support action patterns. It also supports you document access support action patterns. So let's see mostly used scenarios, that is key value database first. So what is this key value database, sir? This key value database is nothing but what is this key value database? Let's have a question. This key value database is nothing but collection of key value pairs. What is this? It's a collection of key value pairs. Key value database is nothing but collection of key value pairs. So let's write some key value pairs. Let's say how the keys will be. Let's see how the keys will be. The keys will be like 10001. For this particular key, the value will be, let's say I put the value will be Ajay. So like this, you can have many keys. 1002. This is a key for Sai. So now the question is, what is an item? What do we call an item? An item is nothing but, so we call this whole thing, both key value pair, as an item. So what is an item, sir? Item is nothing but key value pair. We call the key value pair as an item. So why do we use these keys, sir? These are unique identifiers for you to identify particular item or record. These are the key identifiers. These are the unique identifiers. So what is key? It's a unique identifier to identify items, or you can say records. So what types of items you can able to identify? Particular items you can able to identify by using this key. So by using this key, if you provide this key, then you can able to identify this whole item. This particular item will be identified by using this key. Every value having, every item having a unique key. So by using that key, you can able to identify your whole item, that is key value pair. How do we can able to identify any item, or you can say any record? So how do I can able to identify any item or a record? By using a unique key, you can able to identify an item or record. So can I say these items are nothing but my data? Yes. So how can you able to access your data? By using key. By using key, you can able to access your data. By using key, you can able to access your data in RDS. Sorry, in DynamoDB, you can able to access. In DynamoDB, you can able to access your data. That is nothing but, what's your data? Data is nothing but items or records. You can able to access them by using keys. So I hope you understood why we use DynamoDB, because NoSQL database we use DynamoDB. And why we call this as a managed service, because underlying infrastructure is managed by whom? AWS. So why we call this as serverless? Because we are not maintaining servers, so we call this as serverless. And what do we need to maintain here? Our data modes. How to model our data, that we need to maintain. Actually, we have these 4 types of data modes. Among these, DynamoDB, we mostly prefer to use the key value database. So that's why we analyzed that key value database. This is the key and this is the value. So by using a key, you can able to identify particular item. Item is nothing but key value pair. We call it as item. So what is key value database? It's nothing but collection of key value pairs. We call it as key value database. We can also say key value database is nothing but collection of items or collection of records. What is item or record? Nothing but key value pair is nothing but item or record. So by using key, I can able to identify item or record. Yes. So what is this item or record? We call that item or record as data under DynamoDB. So how can we able to identify certain data under my DynamoDB? By using key. So this is what we learned under this DynamoDB. Till now, I hope you understood this video. If you feel this video is contentful, then please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. See you back in the next video. Until then, bye bye, guys.